This man himself joins us right now via Zoom. And of course, you can go ahead and check us out on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. Something that is really transcending the Western Cape. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've said it countless times, Michael. I've said this too many times. And when I see these type of pilot projects taking place, I become more and more convinced that we are living in one of the best cities in the country. By far, okay, and who knows? One can even go as far as saying one of the most privileged cities that we're living in right now. That, of course, being the city of the Western Cape, or rather the province, because the Western Cape government on Thursday last week launched its Getting You to Work pilot project. Now, this is offering job seekers free travel interviews using the Golden Arrow bus services. Joining me right now is Minister of Mobility for the Western Cape, Ricardo Mackenzie. Minister, firstly, good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule on joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, and thank you for having me this afternoon on a beautiful Friday afternoon in the most beautiful city on the planet.
You can say that 1,000 times over and over and over again. Let's get into this one, because this is transforming the way we are looking at interviews. Now, obviously, Michaela, how are you going to get to your job for an interview? You've never worked for about 2, 3 years, 5 years. You're looking for a job. You get an interview. How must you get there if you don't have money, you've never worked, or you don't have a job to work? How is this? I mean, really, just give us an understanding, Minister Mackenzie, Getting You to Work pilot project. How exactly does this thing work?
Well, you've identified the problem. The problem is you've been at home for 2, 3 years. You have not worked. Suddenly you get 2 or 3 interviews next week. Now you have to go borrow money from your auntie, your sister, your cousin. And if you do get a job, you're now in debt because you need to pay people back. That is a challenge many people in our communities have experienced. I experienced it myself many years ago. So what we've done is we looked at how we can help those communities that need it.
Yeah.
Because the research has indicated, and the quarterly labor force surveys told us, it actually costs nearly 300 Rand a month for people just to look for work. So with this project, we've cut that cost down to zero. It's part of our Growth for Jobs strategy to enable job creation in the Western Cape. We already have the lowest unemployment rate in the country, but it's still too high. That's why we're doing everything to enable jobs. So how does it work? Basically, is we've signed up with corporate companies. If you have an interview, or the companies say we've got candidates that must come to interviews, they'll send you an SMS with a link that you can register. You put in your ID number and your details. You go to your nearest Golden Arrow a bus station, or for example, if you stay in Mitchells Bay in the town center, or in Khayelitsha or Bellville station, and then you pick up your Golden Arrow card, obviously using your ID number, and off you go to an interview. And hopefully you will get the job, because that's the purpose of this program. And that is what we're doing to help job seekers go and look for work.
Yeah. Do you think something as this initiative, do you think it's long overdue, not just for the Western Cape, but even for the country, given the high unemployment rate we have nationally?
I definitely think it's long overdue, and that's why in the Western Cape we decided to start something and pilot this program to ensure that we help job seekers to get to that first interview. And also, once you have that interview and you have the job, which hopefully you'll get, we also say that because you've got a card, there's 12 trips loaded on that card. So for the first 10 days, you're able to use the card. The card is valid for a year.
Oh, wow.
Ideally, if we want you to get the job, you can obviously top up for more, but at least you can get to work and back on your first 12 trips. So you don't have to go borrow money from your cousin, your uncle, or your friend. You can get to work the first 12 trips. And that's what we're helping unemployed job seekers with.
Yeah. And I mean, given this pilot project, what exactly are the measurements of success that the province is looking at to see, is it working, isn't it working? And of course, do we make this a permanent thing going forward?
What we obviously we want as many people to get jobs as possible. And, once this pilot project is done, we will do the research. We will see how many people has been able to get to the interviews, how many companies have signed up. And that is how we will determine. But I can tell you now, given the need there is, we know people struggle to get to interviews. We know transport cost is very high the high cost of petrol, the high cost of trains, the high cost of buses and taxis. I will certainly advocate that we keep this for as long as possible. Right now, it's until the end of the 1st of April next year, which is the new financial year 2025. But I'll certainly advocate that we keep this for as long as possible because we know people struggle to get to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know what? I absolutely love this. And more so, early on, you touched on a valid point. You know, what if you have to go and borrow money from your neighbors, from your mom, your dad, your aunties, people that you've never chatted to in a very long time, and now you have to end up borrowing money. And I suppose the worst part is, what if you don't get the jobs? Now you owe money, and you're still in debt after all of this. How has the citizens of the Western Cape responded to this initiative?
I can tell you can I first say this has been extremely well received. I mean, one of my TikTok videos that I've posted only over 100,000 views with several hundred comments. It shows you the interest there are from people who want this, people looking for transport to get to interview. It has been a massive interest from communities. The second thing I want to say, first, to further interest, and thank you for this opportunity, because that is how we get the word out there. So I want to thank you guys for having me on a Friday evening on the show. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of the unemployed persons that are out there looking for job opportunities, not having transport. Listening to you, they now have access to that. And the third thing I just want to ask, if I can make a plea, if there's an HR manager out there, if there's a recruiter out there, an operations manager, HR practitioner, please sign up urgently. westerncape.gov.za. Go to our website on the Western Cape government. Reach out to us on 0860 142 142. 0860 142 142. We need the HR managers, HR practitioners to reach out to us so you can send the candidates these links so they can get to the interview. So the candidates don't tell you they don't have money for interviews. We've now slashed the cost of coming to interviews to zero. So if you're an HR manager in your car listening to this, watching this on Facebook or wherever you're watching it from, you now can tell the candidates, we have a solution. We have a solution to get you to the interview, and they will inform the candidates, send them the SMS link, and those candidates can come to interview. We've removed that barrier for candidates to come to interviews. So the uptake has been great, but we need more people. The more people we can get signing up, companies, HR managers, the more people we can get to interviews. Right now, I'm sitting at a call center in Cape Town, and they're going to sign up with us also next week. Nice. And they're also telling me that there are opportunities. There's nearly 6,000 jobs in the call center industry. And one of the barriers in this particular call center where I am was also some of the people can't get to interviews. They don't have money. So I've informed them, don't worry, we've dealt with that problem as Western Cape government. We've cut the cost of getting to interviews to zero. And this call center literally just left there using their boardroom right now. They're discussing it, and they're going to sign up to make sure people coming to interviews next week will use our Western Cape government free transport voucher system. And that is what we're doing to enable job creation in the Western Cape.
And all of that deserves some of this.
Definitely. Ricardo, I wanted to know if is there a particular place that one needs to meet up for the bus? And then also, if I am if I got one interview going to one place and another interview, maybe 3 interviews prepared for different locations, but these companies are not aware of what you guys are doing, is there ways that I can maybe sign up as an individual? How does one remedy that situation?
Thank you very much. You've such an important question, and thank you for that. The first one is you can get a bus anywhere in Cape Town. Golden Arrow transport nearly 200,000 people every single morning. There are 1,000 buses in Cape Town. So you can get onto any bus. Obviously, once you have your card, you must first get your card, but you can get onto any bus in Cape Town. That is the first question. The second one is, if you, for example, if Ricardo has an interview, And Ricardo don't have money next week, Wednesday, to get to the interview. And the interview is with, call it TV and Associates. Ricardo can tell TV and Associates, actually, HR manager, there is a program by the Western Cape government to get me free to that interview, whether I take one bus or two buses or three buses. And I'll explain the amount of trips now in my third point. Then that person, the HR manager, can sign up. It's an easy process. On our government website, westerncape.gov.za, they will get the link. They will send you the SMS. You sign up to the SMS, an easy process. You, for example, if you stay in Mitchell's Plain, you go to the town center, go to the kiosk, go to where you see the Golden Arrow vans.
Yeah.
They normally sell the tickets on a Sunday afternoon. People know where they are: Mitchell's Plain, Khayelitsha, Kraaifontein, Bellville, Atlantis, etc. Once you get that ticket, you can get onto any Golden Arrow bus. Your third part of your question: if you have 3 interviews, this card allows you 12 trips. So if your first interview, for example, is with Pick n Pay, then you're allowed to go to Pick n Pay with the interview. Pick n Pay will obviously, hopefully, be a partner with us soon. The second trip interview can be, for example, with Truist. We are busy signing Truist up at the moment. Then you can go to Truist for the interview. So you have 12 trips you can use on that card. So you're not limited to only one interview. And then to answer your second question more in detail, if, for example, you stay in Mitchell's Plain and your interview is in Cape Town, and you feel, your interview is 10 o'clock, but you want to come via Wynberg. So you get off to Wynberg, you have that 1 hour change over, for example, you're getting off at Wynberg for whatever reason. You're allowed to get on the bus as you're currently allowed to with the changeover and get on the next bus and off to Cape Town. So that is also allowed on that trip.
I love that. Wow. Listen, Minister Mackenzie, we ran out of time now, but there's so much more that we need to dissect, and so much more, of course, that we need to talk about when it comes to this. Hopefully in the next month or two, or hopefully within the next few months, we're able to touch base with you and just to see how it's going, and to see more companies, more HR managers joining up as well. But for now, thank you for sharing. Thank you for your time. And of course,
thank you so much.
We'll be touching base very, very, very soon with each other again.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. That was Minister Ricardo Mackenzie, the Minister of Mobility for the Western Cape.